Welcome. I am Jean Barry. This is the Game On Expert series. I'm your game inventor mentor, and I bring on experts to help you grow your life, your business, and more joy in your life. I love bringing in people, especially for body care, because quite frankly, when you don't have a body that works, your business isn't going to work either. And so I'm incredibly excited to share with you Heather Phillips. She's going to share a little bit about her, but she is a holistic pain relief provider as well as helping you grow your vitality and positive energy in your body. When I first met Heather, I was really, really excited about finding someone who actually incorporated all the things that I kind of knew were true into a program and system that actually works for body wellness. And so, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so excited to have you here, Heather Phillips.
Thank you, Jean. I'm so happy to be here.
Awesome. Can you tell our watchers a little bit about you and your background and what brought you to this point? You're like, how did you get to be an expert in pain relief and vitality?
Well, here's the thing. I didn't realize that I was a pain expert until I lived a long time in this body with the techniques I was using for my whole life. And so it kind of crept up on me. And the reason why, I'll tell you. When I was 19 years old, I was in first year university taking my honors bachelor physical education degree, and I ended up with a back injury. I went home after first year, went to a surgeon who said promptly, "You have spondylolisthesis and you'll need surgery within the next 5 years." So I said, "Hey, I'm 19. I'll do it now. I'll recover fast. I'll be on my way, and I'll go back to my program, and all will be wonderful." So surgery happened just as I turned 20, and I did go back to university the next year. Of course, I could not do any of the practicum, which is the running, the jumping, the playing field hockey, pole vaulting, gymnastics, volleyball, basketball, you name it. I couldn't do any of it. So I'm finished my surgery. I'm told to wear a back brace for 6 months, and I did. I'm told to go for physiotherapy, which I did. Physiotherapy hurt. It was unbelievably hurtful, and I wasn't recovering in a way that I thought I should be. So I said, I have this pain it was actually at the bottom right of my back, but on my hip bone, like that area. And the physiotherapist said, I don't know what that is. I can't help you. I'll refer you to the surgeon. The university sports surgeon came in. He didn't look at my file, but had a great explanation. And I said, "Well, doc, that's really well and good, but they didn't take the bone out of my right hip. They took the bone out of my left hip. So why is my right hip hurting?" And he went and got my file, and he says, "Yeah, you're right. Well, we can do an exploratory surgery, open you up and see what's going on." With that, I said, "No, I'm out. I'm gone." And I said, "There's got to be a better way. Absolutely has to be a better way." Within the year, I got introduced to a chiropractor who was studying naturopathy, who was using muscle testing. And that it's not the muscle testing that physiotherapists use, which is a strength test. It was the muscle testing that bioenergetic wellness and USA and worldly kinesiology people use. I say worldly and USA because in Canada they've restricted it and they've regulated kinesiology. So we have bioenergetic wellness in Canada. So it uses the neuromuscular integration of the muscle testing to measure the nerve connection. So I learned that, and I've been using that from the age of 20 or 21, I guess, 21 till now, and I'm 58. So in the last, I don't know how many years, I started pulling different techniques together, and I've always been fascinated with, okay, I know this touch for health. That's what I got introduced to. The nurses at the naturopathic doctor's office were touch for health instructors. So I learned Touch for Health. And I have to say, Touch for Health is the grandmother of all the energy medicines. So when you hear energy medicine, the grandfather of it was Dr. George Goodhart and Dr. John Thie, Applied Kinesiology and Touch for Health, respectively. So I got involved in that world, and I became a Touch for Health instructor when I was 22 years old. I mean, I was passionate about it. And the reason why I wanted to become a Touch for Health instructor was because during level 2, I learned something that the Muscle Tuner Specialists program has shortened and made very easy to learn, reactivity between muscles, which means that one muscle could be bullying the muscle. So in isolation, they work perfect. When you work them together, one switches off and causes you pain. It's the most fascinating thing in the whole world. So I learned how to balance the muscles so they didn't react to each other, and the pain went away immediately in my back, like immediately. So I said, I have to learn this. I have to teach it. I've got to tell the world about this.
That is beautiful, and thank you for that. Like, it is incredibly exciting, and to hear your story about about pain at that young age, saying like, I'm not going to live my life like this. This is kind of the deal. So welcome to our live viewers. Thanks so much for coming on with us today live and saying hey and good morning. Laura, Stephanie, Joanne, so glad you're here. And I'm curious if you're watching this now or if you're watching it later, is there anything that you have pain in, or that can you kind of relate to the story? Like, oh yeah, the pain is there and then it comes back and it goes and it comes and it's kind of there. We don't know where it is and everything else like that. I think it's really interesting. So share with us if you have chronic pain or if you've had pain in your life. Now, I had a point in my life where I was in back pain and can't figure it out, right? There's no real explanation for it, and started to look into all these things. I did come across Touch for Health, which totally excited me. I found it incredibly complicated though. And in talking to you, I love that you actually make it incredibly simple, like step by step. And so if someone finds themselves in pain, obviously you're not going to like teach your whole method today, but what is the first place you go? Like someone's like, I'm in pain. What's the first step? I know, call Heather, but
Yeah, right. Well, what I discovered along the way, Jean, is that Touch for Health is really about energy. It's about meridian. And I'm actually in the process of developing a program called Meridian Magic, so that people could learn about the meridian energy pathways and the central and governing meridian, which isn't part of the 12, so 14 meridians. So when I learned Touch for Health, I had this perception about energy and how it flows. And so now the first place I look is, which muscle is it on? Which muscle is it? And then what meridian pathway is it on? Because oftentimes it's stuck energy. And we know this, a lot of us know this already, but we hear it in the context of emotion, stuck energy, but in my world, it's energy, stuck energy. So if we can access that energy and move it, and know different techniques to move the energy through so they're all balanced, so all the meridians are balanced, pain goes away. It might only be temporary, but you actually get to experience being pain-free in that moment. And then you go, okay, if that's possible, what else is possible? How long can I make it last? Can I be like this forever? What else is going on? So my program was built on that curiosity. And it's not just about physical. It's not just about electrical. It's not just about nutritional. It's not just about emotional. So there's the biochemical aspect, there's the emotional component, there's the electrical component, there's the physical component, and then there's something that our brain does to us called psychological reversal, which is basically self-sabotage. So, the source of pain could be from any one of those areas. And Touch for Health gave me the basis for the electrical component. So it may not be the cause.
So hang on, back up for just a second. So the electrical component then is attached to the meridians? Is that
Yes.
okay? And so can you just back up for a second and explain the meridians just basically?
Okay. Yeah, I can. Okay, so there's 14 meridians, and the one that controls the spine and the brain are front, goes from your pubic bone up to the bottom of your lip, and the governing meridian for spine starts at your tailbone, basically, comes up the back of your spine and over the top of your head and ends here. And it actually they both end at the back of the throat. So if you can just visualize white light energy coming up and then at the back here. One's yin, one's yang. Yin is up and yang is down. Although the back starts up, but it actually ends down, so that's why it's yang. So each meridian is either yin or yang. They come in pairs. They come in elements. So there's earth, water, fire, wood, air. They're missing one, water, metal. So they come in twos, in pairs, a yin and a yang. So if they're out of balance in that element, and that element has emotions involved, muscles involved, there's all of the components involved at that elemental level. So the meridians flow from your body to your fingers, from your fingers to your face, from your face to your feet, from your feet to your body. And then the central is up here, and the governing is up and ends here. So there's 14. So the energy only runs one direction, but sometimes when we're under stress or we've had an injury, our brain will get discombobulated and read the energies backwards. If that happens, you can get into pain. You will have some kind of clumsiness, or you'll have some pain, or you won't be able to focus or concentrate. And as an example, I had surgery, as you know, and they gave me anesthetic. I was under for 4 hours. They gave me that much anesthetic. They also gave me painkillers every 4 hours, morphine, right, left, hip, right, left, hip, that for days. They also gave me Valium, and they also gave me Tylenol 3. They also gave me sleeping pills. I felt like I was unconscious for a week. And I mean, it's like, I didn't want any of that. So my point is that when I went back to university in second year, I went from a B plus, A minus average to a D, and was almost failing some classes because I couldn't concentrate, I couldn't stay awake, I couldn't comprehend things that I was reading because of the anesthetic in my brain. So I actually did some cross-brain integration and cross-brain integration with a goal, switched on my right brain, my left brain, cross-brain. I did some really fabulous work from Brain Gym. And when I went to school the next year, I was floored. I was getting my high 80s and 90% again. And it just goes to show you that sometimes the things we take for granted in life, like the medicine we take, or the joy we get out of a glass of wine, or the chocolate, the excess sweet, whatever, can really switch off our energy, can mess up that body-brain integration. And all the tools that I teach are to get the body-brain reintegrated so that we can have a normal, healthy, happy life.
Beautiful. That's amazing. So Laura says, I was in a car wreck that smashed my car with me in it. Walked away without a scratch, but still have stiffness in my lower back. I've been doing Pilates and meditation for healing, no physiotherapy. This is kind of like the classic thing, right? Is that something happens, and now we have pain, and it not really a lot of explanation behind it, right? It's just showing up like, yes, there was an accident, there was some sort of impact that happened, and yet the body is somehow saying, I have a problem.
It's speaking to her, absolutely. Laura. It's Laura, correct?
Yeah.
Can you ask her if I have permission to connect with her higher energy,
Okay,
her higher
well, you can
self?
ask her. She's watching, so she can just type in the chat.
Laura. One of the things that I have learned to do is connect with someone else's energy. I do it. It's called theta. It's theta. It's theta healing, and I'm a theta healer practitioner at this point in my life. But if I can connect in with your energy, might be able to give you some insight. Would that be okay with you?
Yeah, so Laura says, also, I'm a clinical pharmacist, so I know the pitfalls of medication. And she says, sure. Yes,
Okay.
you can connect.
I have permission. Okay. Thank you. The cause of Laura's it's lower back, I'm assuming. Back pain? Maybe not. Back
Yes,
pain
she
is,
says lower back. Yep.
so her body is trying to tell her something. Okay, so there's a lot going on for her. The cause is electrical, physical, and nutritional. That doesn't mean that's the solution. That just means that's the cause. So the physical, of course, she knows what that's all about. So let's look for a solution. It's the same. The priority is electrical. So Laura, what you can do is you can go to the Energy Boost 5 free tips that Jean is going to be offering as part of this package. So you can start there for energy. Does she need to know? She's just beyond that. Meridian massage. So you're also going to need to do some meridian massage, and you're going to go, what is that? Very simply tracing the meridians as I have described, from body to fingers, fingers to face. You can actually get that if you contact me directly. I will send that information to you. So it's a video and it's a write-up. So if you contact me directly, I'll give that to you. You have reactive muscles going on, so I suspect that when you're sitting in a car and you're in a car accident, you're in seated position, so you're looking at your psoas muscles and your neck muscles being reacting with each other. You could also be looking at your quads and your hamstrings, or your quadratus lumborum and your quads, or your stomach and your back muscles, QL, and your stomach muscles and your quads and your stomach muscles. So there's a lot happens when you're in a car accident. So if you want to connect with me at a different time, I will go through all of those, but you just need to know that there's a biochemical solution, an electrical solution, and a physical solution. The physical is definitely reactive muscles that are happening as a result of your car accident, that the brain said, stop working, because they're in protection mode, right? You're in a car accident and some muscles are like tense and going, protect me, and the other ones are like now not working. They've just gone into a brain body mode that one has taken over for the other, and the brain's not got the message that they're out of danger. Like that's all that's happened. So we just need to re-educate the muscles that aren't working. That's it. And I know how to do that.
That is awesome. That is really awesome. No, I have seen a lot of this kind of shifting happening, and really people are like, it's a miracle. It's not really a miracle. Of course, you just need to know how the body works, right, in these senses. And I think that it's really fascinating to, Laura says thanks. I will put I said feather instead of Heather. I will put Heather's light as a feather. I will put Heather's contact information in just a few minutes. I'll put that in here, as well as the link to those five free tips as well. I'll put the link in just a hot minute. And I totally lost track of where I'm like, I went down the road of feathers. I'm like, oh, we're gonna go light as a feather.
Well, the truth is, when you have energy, you sometimes feel like a feather walking up the stairs, for instance. When your energy's aligned, you do feel lighter in your body, and I think we all would like a little bit of that.
No kidding. No kidding. We're just going to hang in the energy of a feather today. Okay, so Joanne says, I had a herniated disc in my back, and it led to sciatica and excruciating foot pain for months. Yeah, and it's so, those things that keep leading to something else. Sciatica, oh my gosh, that is such a thing. Like it feels so random because it's shooting down your legs. I had it about 20 years ago, and we'll never forget it, right? Because you might just be walking and you move a little bit wrong some way, and all of a sudden you can't function. There is so much pain shooting down your leg. So Joanne, I have total compassion for that. And so, Joanne, do you still have that? You said for months. Is it still going on, or has it lifted, or where are you at? Since we have the expert on the line, like, wow.
Well, sciatica it has 5 causes appearing according to the Sciatica Institute. And if you want to look up Sciatica Institute, feel free. But one of the most common ones is an imbalance between 2 muscles that stabilize your hip. But they're really deep muscles, and they attach on the upper trochanter, so the top hip, your leg muscle, your leg bone. Sorry, and they actually insert at your sacrum. So it's a little tiny muscle called the piriformis muscle. And we often sit with one leg over the other, or we favor one side, or we, do the hip hike or whatever. The hip hike has nothing to do with the piriformis muscle, but there is a really simple reactive muscle balance. So you balance the muscles, and oftentimes what happens is, as soon as you balance the muscles, your sacrum doesn't shift to one side anymore, and therefore your nerves are no longer affected. And so your sacrum's in balance, your muscles are equally pulling on the sacrum, and the sciatica goes away. My daughter had that last week. She works in a factory. So of course she puts her body through 8 to 10 hours of physical activity every single day. And because it's a factory, they work 2 hours at a time on one job. So she often comes home with a sore shoulder. Actually, she doesn't live here. She comes over to my house often so that I can help her. And it's just a function of her job. It would be really great if at some point I could help her stay balanced all day with hydration and the food she eats and proper rest. But in a factory, when you have limited resources for taking a rest and balancing, you just do what you do, and then sometimes there's consequences. So anyway, I corrected the balance between the 2 piriformis muscles. And the piriformis muscle test is you put your knees together and you put one of them back, and then you put it across. So it's like you're creating a number 4, and then you just swing your leg out one way. And if you do that just without anything else, you probably notice that one is easier to do than the other, and you might trigger some pain. That's one really good way to see if you've got sciatica triggered by that muscle. And if you want, I can stand up and demonstrate it if you want.
We'll get to that in a second. So Joanne said actually it just went away, which speaks to exactly what you're talking about, is that, like something was askew, and by hanging out, it got it to, I think, and this is what comes down to what we started to talk about earlier, is that the body knows how to heal itself. It's just that sometimes it really gets confused. We get those mixed signals and that kind of thing. We started to talk about before we came on air is some of the things that you do just to have to get these answers, like you just said, is that sometimes you can get answers really clearly and specifically from your body about things related to your body or even not your body, right? Of what's right for you and where to go.
So there's 2 things I want to say about that. And the first thing is going to be traditional. One is observation. So if you look at your shoulders and one of them is up, okay, so if you're looking at yourself right now and one of them is up, just means your latissimus dorsi, which is the big muscle in the back, one side is switched off. So what I want you to do is go underneath your left breast. It's going to be between the 7th and 8th rib, so it's going to be right about there. And I want you to rub. Might be tender, but if you actually see yourself or you catch yourself doing this,
yeah,
I want you to rub there. So one of the visuals, Jean, is the posture. If you look at your posture, your body tells you what's going on by your posture. So if you have one hip higher than the other, your doctor might say, well, you have one leg longer than the other. Well, a chiropractor would say, well, your hips are probably not aligned. As soon as you align your hips, your legs will be the same height. So there's definitely discrepancy between the different philosophies. But anyway, what I'm doing is I'm just rubbing here. You rub there for about 20 seconds, and then you look at your shoulders again to see if they're aligned or not. And I did this demonstration not too long ago, and I got this message back. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I've been struggling with this for a long time, and my shoulders are now even.
Well, that's fascinating. Okay, so I hate this looking in the camera because I'm looking, it's opposite, and so I'm trying to figure out which side.
It doesn't, well, actually, yeah, right. Well, it doesn't really matter. You're only going to rub the left side.
It's always the left side. Okay.
Yeah, you only rub on the left side between your 7th and 8th rib, because that's the reflex point for the latissimus dorsi, and it's only on one side on the front and 2 places on the back, but I'm not going to talk about that today.
Okay, cool.
When you go to the 5 free tips and you get to something called Wake Up the Organs, that is using a ball in a sock, and you can rub on either side of your spine, not across, but on either side of your spine, and that will wake up your organs, and that's all the lymphatic systems for all your muscles in all your body. So it's a really good energy massage. So
well, that's cool. Okay, so so you were just talking then about the hips being in alignment. So yeah, can you demo that one for us too?
Okay. So the piriformis muscle is here, but it's really, really deep. So the muscle test for that, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this, that you can see.
Okay. That works.
Okay, so it's, your knees are together, but then you're going to go this way, and you're going to just do that.
Oh, I see.
So this test here, or this range of motion, from here to here is the piriformis, and this way is the iliacus, which is another deep muscle, but it's part of the psoas group. So they actually, if you notice, they counterbalance each other, right? So if you just do that movement on both sides, you might actually help the situation. So Joanne with her sciatica, she could just do that, and and then the other part is, after you do that, you've got to rub something to stimulate the muscle and the muscle balance. So it's here and here. So the other, while I'm standing up, Jean, the posture was one thing. Pain is an obvious, I'm out of balance somehow. But the other thing is getting information from your body. You can truly ask it. And so I'm going to demonstrate the body pendulum. Muscle Tuners International calls it a body pendulum. And I'll demonstrate it while I'm standing up and the chair's out of the way. Is that okay?
That's beautiful. Yeah, no, I'm excited about this, because this is how then you can just ask questions of your body, right? Okay, exactly. Cool. So yes, exactly. Share away.
So the first thing you do is you establish a yes and a no. So you just ask, you just say, show me a yes. Show me a no. Okay, now you say something that's true. My name is Heather. My name is Jean. Not today. So now you can say for the sciatica, so the reason for my sciatica is physical. I don't have sciatica. So if I'm being Joan, I'll say do I have Joan's permission to do this?
Joanne. Yeah.
Joanne.
Well, she doesn't have sciatica right now either, so she said it just went away.
Yay! Energy works. The intention
exactly.
totally works. So I can say, give me an example, Jean.
Okay, so right now, actually, I have some weird little pain in the little muscles between my ribs on the front. So I don't know what that is. So.
Okay, so Can I be your proxy? Can I do
Yes,
this for you on your
please.
behalf?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
So I have permission from Jean to be her proxy. Okay, good. So for Jean, the cause of is it right in here?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Cause of Jean's um, pain is for positive gain. Okay, so that means your body is trying to tell you something. And the cause is biochemical, emotional, electrical, something else. So it's electrical. And the solution is biochemical, emotional, electrical, something else. So electrical it is. So I went sideways. I didn't go front or backwards for that, but I got electrical cause, electrical solution. So there are 4 muscles that have neurolymphatic massage point right here. So what I want you to do is put one of those in range of motion just to trigger the brain that there's energy coming into that area. So you can do this with me.
Okay.
Just thumbs up and arms down. Thumbs up and arms down. And now we're going to go to the side, arms down. All right. Now what I want you to do is rub in there. Just rub those spots that are a little bit tender or giving you a little bit of a hard time.
Right.
The other muscle that attaches there is your pecs. Your pecs attach. Pectoralis major sternal attaches here. So that range of motion is from here to here. So you could do that as well. Thumbs down and palms out.
Okay.
Okay, and rub again. Rub there again. Whew. And how does that feel?
It feels off. It's one of those things that's just, it flares up weirdly. Like, I don't know why it shows up, and then it goes away sometimes, and then sometimes it comes back. And so I
So next time, so for you and the audience, next time you've got a pain, look back about a day to find out what physical activity were you doing, what did you lift, how did you sleep, as in position. Not necessarily I had a bad sleep, but maybe the pain caused the bad sleep. But just some things like that. Maybe you lifted an extra heavy grocery bag the day before. And just know that you've got muscles that work together to lift things. And some of the muscles may be causing you pain. And wherever there's pain, feel free to rub there. Don't ignore it. Just rub, because you might actually hit a neurolymphatic massage point and bring energy back into the area. I mean, it's and if it hurts to rub, just rub really gently and softly for a little bit longer than you normally would, like 30 seconds instead of 20, that kind of thing.
Okay, so
but
Joanne is asking. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I'm done.
Joanne is asking if you can explain the difference between the emotional, electrical, and physical designations that you were talking about. Like, what is the cause?
The cause. Well, so the cause, the emotional cause, I actually don't go too deep into the cause of anything, because that's not really what we need to know, unless the body says, I need to know more. Yes.
Okay.
So for an emotional, so it says emotional, do I need to know more? Yes. Okay. So what do I need to know? And then you go you breathe and you go into a meditative state, and you're kind of saying, well, what emotion? You could actually go to a chart. Like there's emotional barometers. You've got something like that has emotionals attached to each of the elements. So you could start to explore what is the emotion that's bothering me? I can't pinpoint it. I feel fine, but if it's an emotional cause, there's something going on. And my body's saying, I need to know more. So then you can do the body sway or self muscle test. There's lots of them. There's lots of different ways to muscle test or self assess. And then you can start asking things like, okay, so the emotion is in the fire element, the emotions in the earth element, the emotions in the metal element, the emotions in the water and wood, and if whatever it says, okay, it's in earth, then you say, I'm feeling empathetic, I'm feeling sympathy, I need to sing. It's like, oh, but that's the cause. You flip it over and you ask the same questions for the solution. And then that's when you go, the solution is different. It might be totally different. The cause might be emotional, but the solution might be going for a walk in nature. So you have to be really careful. You don't want to get caught up in the cause. You want to get caught up on the solution. And really, it's really a metaphor for life, isn't it? We don't really want to stay in the problem. We want to move to the solution. But you need to acknowledge, just like Eckhart Tolle talks about, you need to acknowledge it. You need to acknowledge the body. You need to acknowledge the source of the problem. And then you just need to say, thank you for sharing, and move on to the solution. It's truly a miracle. when you address life like that, it's like, thanks for sharing. And I got myself through a lot of emotional upset after my fiance died when I was in my 20s, and I would get caught up in that emotional loop, and I didn't have this technology as clearly as I do today. But one of the things I would do to get out of the emotional cycle was, thanks for sharing, I'll deal with you later. And then I'd stop crying or I'd snap out of it or whatever. But I knew the body got acknowledged. The emotion got acknowledged. And at some point I figured out that when I do that, the emotion no longer controls me, I control it. Which is interesting. Thank you for asking the question, because that is knowledge that I have that I've never shared like that before. So I appreciate that. I hope you got the answer that you were looking for. Biochemical is nutritional, environmental, all the stuff, the biochemicals that we get bombarded with internally and externally. Emotional, biochemical, electrical is the Energy Boost Self-Care Program, the Touch for Health, anything that's energy work. The physical is absolutely too much exercise, not enough exercise. All the physical stuff. I've got an injury. I need to source out a physiotherapist. I need a chiropractic adjustment, whatever that physical looks like. Psychological reversal is I actually do tapping for that, and also a technique that I developed with my business partner called DEAR, Dynamic Emotional Alignment Reset. So we've got some tools in our toolbox so that you can get to the answer and the solution in one sitting. It's fabulous.
Yeah, so a couple weeks ago I had Lori on with EFT, and we walked through some EFT methods and that kind of thing. And what I love about, though, what you do is how you have taken all these little pieces, like pluck them out and say, how do these integrate? How are they one thing? How do we really serve people in an elegant toolbox that's not overwhelming? Because I studied a lot of energy and physical healing. Like it kept showing up. And yet I kind of always called myself like a house fairy. I'm the house fairy. I work, like did you ever see that movie Ella Enchanted? They had a house fairy, and so she said, my powers are limited, but I can do the things here in the household. Right. And so I love that you really pulled it together into this very elegant system. And so we could talk about this all day, because quite frankly, I love all of this stuff and it's fascinating. And you've been very generous in sharing, kind of some of the testings that you do and everything else like that. But I know that you have some things. We've talked about the 5 free tips. I'm going to put the link in for that right now. And you also mentioned that for Laura, whoops, I copied the wrong thing. Let me try again. You also talked about some of the other resources that you have available. You want to say anything about those?
I asked Laura to send me an email so I could send her the Meridian massage to
Okay.
her. The Meridian
And
massage is part of my Energy Boost self-care program, and the energy that actually teaches 20 techniques, and each of them have their benefits and characteristics. So I actually teach that in the context of Win the Pain Game. So if people want to engage with me at that level, winthepaingame.com is where you sign up. It's a landing page. It may have incorrect dates, but I'll fix that today. But it's kind of an ongoing thing for me. So if you sign up for Win the Pain Game, then you'll get notifications when the next programs are available in the context of the Energy Boost self-care. And again, I'm creating an energy movement mastery course, which is going to pull all this together in the context of mastery instead of winning a pain game.
sure.
It's going to be in the context of mastering energy. So like the Meridian Magic as a module, and Assign, Design, Align as a module, Root, Reveal, Resolve as a module. It's really going to be a really
Oh,
fantastic program.
yeah.
It
No,
is.
I'm excited about that. Definitely let me know when
I'm
it
not.
comes.
It's not. It's. I've got pieces of that all over the place, but it hasn't been pulled together. But you actually heard the output of what the end result's going to be for people. That they will actually be able to do what I did like that.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's really beautiful. And your email address?
Heather at muscletuners.fit.
Dot fit. Okay, let me put that in there as well. So if you want to email Heather and want to know more information or want to get a couple of those resources she talked about, I just put that in there. Whether Heather at muscletuners.fit. Okay, got it. Got it. Got it. Got it.
Yeah. And I mean, if you want to have a one-on-one session with me, I've just started taking one-on-one clients to help them. So if you're interested in doing one-on-one, again, use the email and in the subject line go new client or something like that. Or interested in being a client, something like that, and I'll be happy to respond and send you my booking link. Or
Beautiful.
call you or whatever to make
Figure it
happen, right?
out. We'll figure it out, right? Well, I have to say though that this now it definitely has lessened. It's definitely gotten better, so that's cool.
That's awesome.
Fabulous. One of those weird things you're like, I don't know what this is. It's not bothering me every day, but it's kind of annoying.
And the other thing, Jean, you can do is rub underneath your breasts, like literally right here, because if it is your any of your pec muscles, one
Okay.
of them's on the right and one of them's on the left, so you can just rub them both, and that might relieve your little upset between your on your breastbone as well.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's it's
Thank
just
you.
like oh my God, I get so excited when I go, I can help.
No kidding. No kidding. Well, oh my gosh, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me today. I've put the links right in the bottom there. Thank you all for coming and watching us live here today. And if you're watching this later, if you have questions for Heather, of course, reach out to her. We've put all the resources for there as well. If you are looking for, hey Maria, popping in, we're just wrapping up. If you are looking for more support in your business and your games and decks and physical products, definitely hop into the Game Changers Facebook group. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today, and we will see you all later.
Thank you so much, Jean.